A popular Arise TV presenter, Somtochukwu, was murdered, killed in her apartment in Katampi, just at the backyard of the presidential villa, which raised the question of how the level of insecurity has gone in this country. And 5 bandits leaders have been arrested here at the capital. Again, the insecurity at the capital. And the Sahel Intelligence Agency have vowed to expose Nigerian politicians who are financing and sponsoring banditry.
Strike, 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 strike all the way. The NLC has imposed a nationwide strike due to the Pengasin and Dangote rift. The ASU has issued a 14-day ultimatum to the government, threatening an indefinite strike. And over to the 2027 elections, the presidential aide has questioned if Jonathan has a chance. He really has said Jonathan stands no chance in the elections.
While a court declares Pat Utomi's shadow government illegal, citing it is an abuse for expressing his rights, and also Femi Otedela sues former vice presidential aide for libel, accusing him of subsidy fraud. And finally, tomorrow Nigeria turns 65 and the federal government has declared a public holiday.
Stay with us while we'll take you down the details of these headlines. This is the Morning Break and I am Mohammed Kabir.
And I'm Abbas Muhammad.
I am Barry to the world.
An Arise TV anchor, Somtochukwu, and her security, Barnabas, were brutally killed in Abuja during what was described as an armed robbery in her apartment in Katampi. Her colleagues and residents are struggling to come in terms with this tragedy. While the police label it as an armed robbery, questions have been asked. Is this an armed robbery or is this an assassination attempt on the journalist? This raises fears about the safety of journalists and the public figures in Nigeria. Mohammed, what do you think about the patterns of this situation?
Well, this is not the first time we've seen journalists being assassinated. During the military regime, we saw that a lot. It was more intense then. And then even during democratic government, it's not just a Nigerian problem. I believe worldwide, we've seen certain situations like that. But then at the same time, I don't understand how this is very quick. This was a quick declaration because personally, while going through some of the comments on X, there were situations where people were complaining or mentioning that why were they quick to declare it was an armed robbery attempt? Why was she the only target? Looking at especially that this happened in the Federal Capital Territory where it's supposed to be more secure, the president resides here, we have governors residing here, we have ministers and people of prominent figures staying here in the FCT. So what does that really say about our security force and the security of the FCT? That a journalist will be killed in her home and her security. And this, I can understand why this can be controversial, considering how she's an Arise TV presenter where, they discuss a lot of things and probably might have discussed a topic or two that might have triggered 1 or 2 figures that might have sent this kind of attack to her. So we do hope there will be a proper investigation. Personally, I have faith in the Nigerian police that they will do due diligence to this and investigate into the main cause and the causal effect of this, because this is the journalist, this is someone that has a public face. We've seen situations where a single public figure, an office holder, probably a minister, carrying a lot of convoy, having a lot of convoy, about 20, 25, 30 cars for a single person. So it begs the question, who are the security forces for? Is it for the people? Or is it for those in power? Or is it for the elite? Because I see no reason why, as a civilian, whereby paying tax from my money, from my income, to be protected by the security forces, and then I am being assassinated, while those who are just secluded in one part of it, because the taxpayers' money is what pays those in power. You understand? It pays those in power. So I am paying for their security, but not mine. Why don't I stop paying tax and then get my own personal security? Let everyone have a personal security. It's very triggering. It's very angry, especially considering the present situation of the country, where we have a lot of insecurity here and there. But the FCT, so for this to happen in the FCT, I believe this should be a very blown case. This is something that should go over the roof, over the top. They should go do everything they can and should to make sure that the culprits are apprehended.
Barry, over to you. We've been complaining of insecurity in the country as a whole. What do you think the picture this is going to paint on us on the international level?
I mean, there's this is not the first time, and this is if care is not taken, it's not even going to be the last time this is going to happen. There has been so much news on insecurity in Nigeria. We've talked about NSCDC officials being killed. We've talked about foreign nationals being kidnapped as well. We've talked about, for years, we've talked about banditry. We've talked about terrorism. We've talked about Nigerians losing their lives just making an average journey. It's crazy. We talked about recently during the weekend. We found out that a recent graduate, of the recent graduate who had been called to bar,
Yeah.
was kidnapped as well. So we have a lot of insecurity issues and challenges as a country, and it's terrifying to live in Nigeria because everybody actually feels unsafe. Suntil, the Arise journalist, posted in a tweet just last month. Just last month, she posted and said she hopes Nigeria never happens to anyone. And Nigeria, unfortunately, has happened to her, and it is very devastating. The Arise News has posted so many tributes to her, and during one of those tributes, she was a former beauty queen. She was a former beauty queen, and they asked her what's really inspired her to come back to Nigeria because she was abroad. After her NYC, she traveled abroad, to make ends meet. And then she said she wasn't satisfied. She wanted to make a difference. She said she wanted to go into politics. She wanted to do something like impact Nigeria. She had opportunities. She had a lot of opportunities abroad. She was even earning way more than she would ever will in Nigeria, but it was her passion to create a change in Nigeria. And it's so sad to see that such a life has been cut short. It is sad, it's devastating, and indeed Nigeria has happened to her because this is what happens to Nigerians every day.
Insecurity, just like what Barry said, insecurity is a very, very bad challenge here in Nigeria. And here in Katampe, just at the backyard of the presidential villa, who knows what will happen next if they do not tackle this? Because I think insecurity is a wildfire that if it's not contained, it will burn everywhere and everybody. Still on insecurity, the FCT Police Command have arrested 5 bandits leaders here in the capital. Again, insecurity in the capital. This is becoming a trend in the capital, which it's an unacceptable trend. We have seen insecurity nationwide, but it's coming to the capital raises a lot of questions. This is the capital where the presidential villa resides. This is the capital where we have over 3 to 4 barracks here. This is the capital where we have foreign embassies. What is happening? Mo, what do you think is happening with the security? What's the problem with the security deficit here at the capital?
Well, like I mentioned earlier, we've seen cases where public office holders are going around with security of 20, 30 cars, fully armed, some of them being bulletproof. But then, what point, why do they have so much security with them? If what is being budgeted for security and we really believe in our security forces, I don't think these public office holders will be carrying so much security with them. Okay, fine. The country is not secure. It's not safe. Public office holders are going around with security, so much security. What about the common man? Are they also being catered for? Are they going to attach one full helix of armed security forces per house? If I'm going out, I'm going around with my bodyguard, I'm going around with security. Is this what it's going to be? If that's the case, then let's start having it rather than having deaths and then we're looking for solutions after. It's very disheartening and so sad that the FCT, because if this is the FCT we're talking about, if the FCT is not safe, then where else is? Who is safe? The solution here is simple. These people should be fished out. They should restore the hope of the people. It's not all about, okay, yes, military or public office holders have never been attacked in a convoy or anything. What about the common man? The common man is what's most important here. The security forces are there to protect the common man, not just public officers, not just those in power, not those governors, not just the president, not just the ministers. They're there for everybody. So if it is just being segmented to just a few people, then there is nothing left for the common man.
It's actually very, very sad. It's very sad. Barry, the 5 bandits leader were accused of, or they said they've been carrying out bandit activities surrounding this capital, North Central, around the capital. How do they get access? How can bandit leaders get, with weapons like that, get access to the capital? Do you think the question is, do you think this is lack of proper policing, or what do you think is the reason?
I think I'm glad that you asked this question. We celebrate the capturing of these bandit leaders, but this is a tactical, it's a tactical win, but a systematic failure. Really, how do these bandits get these weapons? Our borders are as porous as you can imagine, and they're supposed to pass through certain security checkpoints. So really, what has been done? Does that mean that they don't do their job? Really, it's a broader issue. We can just say, okay, we fished out these certain people, but there is a lot out there that are rampant and that are feeding on the incompetence of our security agencies. We have a lot of gun smuggling in this nation. This is a real issue. We have poverty, which is leading people to go to crime. We are seeing a rise in the ratio of crime in this nation. You think it's a coincidence? It's not a coincidence. Check the poverty ratio and do the math. There is so much poverty in the land, and people are resorting to crime because they feel that there is no other way to make ends meet than through crime. Crime has become the only way that some people have deemed fit to see income in this country, whether it's Yahoo, like I said, whether it is kidnapping, terrorism, banditry. A lot of monies are flowing in these areas, and we need to ask ourselves the question, what is the government doing to? Because at the end of the day, you are just going to, this is just a tip of the iceberg. You've just caught a few out of the many that are out there, and who are waiting for the opportunity to also be. Some people are just waiting for guns, and you would see the amount of mayhem they will unleash in this nation. Because the real issue is poverty. I mean, why else would I carry guns and perform armed robbery attacks, do this, do that? It's the poverty ratio in this country. It's disheartening. A lot of Nigerians live on less than $1 per day. And these are the issues that the government ought to be mitigating. I just hope that they look at the root causes, not just the surface level, really, because if we want to tackle insecurity in Nigeria, we need to look beyond the surface. You catch one, another will rise tomorrow.
Definitely.
But what are we doing? Our gun problem, really, our porous borders. Because we are saying, okay, now we're claiming some of these people are not Nigerian. So how did they get in? All
the way to the FCT.
Maybe they emerged from heaven, or they.
Do you understand? So is it me that you want to blame for the insecurity issues? Is it because this same governor, this same president that accused Jonathan, there's a couple of killings in the church, and he said that the security issue is on him. So one of the Twitter users and TV presenters, Rufai Oseni, asked him, now these insecurity issues that we're having in Nigeria, who should we ask? Do you understand? Who should we ask? Who
definitely the head of
it's easy to issue out accusations when you are not in power. Now you are in power. What happened? And do you suddenly have amnesia that you are in charge of our security as a nation? I mean, he's the chief of the armed forces of this federation.
It's very sad.
What it's even quizzing me right now is the fact that they say these particular 5 bandits, have been terrorizing, the northwest, the north central, and also the northeast. Why the FCT? Why is it their base of operations? Is the FCT now a safe haven for banditry?
Honestly,
is it now a safe haven for criminals?
At this point, we can say so.
Instead of the FCT being protected, it is protecting the
headquarters. I think they're trying to make the FCT to turn to their headquarters. This is where they'll be carrying their operations
because at this
from.
point, it's not making sense at all.
Honestly,
And
honestly.
yeah.
And when we take a step back and look at the bigger picture, insecurity is a very everything falls down to insecurity. When you've tackled the issue of security and people can go to farm, the economy would, I think the food will come down. When you allow the problem of insecurity, food are flowing, things are flowing, economy will do well, people will do business. But everybody is scared to go and do business before they get kidnapped. Everybody. And this really affects our economy, the same economy that you want to grow and you want to stop borrowing. So I think the government should wake up and know what to do. And the worst case of it, insecurity, not in the outskirts, at the federal capital, where I think it's even disrespectful. This is very disrespectful to the president. Honestly, with all due respect, this is quite disrespectful to the president here at the capital where he stays, and banditry and kidnappings and one chance are happening. I think this was supposed to be the safest place in Nigeria, but this is what we're getting. So I think the president needs to do a proper reform. Nigerians are calling. There should be a proper reform. There was a lady killed in Katampe in cold blood. They said it was armed robbery without stealing anything. She was killed. That calls for alarm. It's just at your backyard. Mr. President, I think you need to do better and you need to review these issues before it's a wildfire, before it consumes us all. Moving on in the matter of insecurity. Insecurity, insecurity, insecurity. Intelligence networks across the Sahel are reportedly preparing to name Nigerian politicians accused of secretly funding and backing terrorist groups. Same issue of insecurity. Insecurity has become a daily problem. It's no more something we hear. Now insecurity happens every day. You cannot travel from here to there without having threats of insecurity.
Mm-hmm.
This revelation, if true, could expose dangerous links between politics and insecurity, which we believed the worst thing to be is under the umbrella of terrorism and politics. Imagine politicians dining with terrorists. That's actually something we'd never want to see. But this asks the questions of accountability. Mohammed, if the Sahel intelligence agencies expose the alleged Nigerian politicians, do you think proper actions are going to be taken? Do you think they are going to be arrested?
Well,
Because we've seen this instance before. They have been accused. To come out, Malam Nasiru have accused the NSA of paying bandits, which they denied. But not only Malam Nasiru, for an outsider to see a problem, to help you look at the problem, I think this is a very serious issue. And this really points at some atom of truth. So do you think, in the basis of accountability, these people, these accused politicians, do you think are we going to see them arrested when the Sahel Intelligence Agency exposes them?
Well, I think they should not let the matter get more out of hand than it has. First of all, you can remember a few months ago, Canada tagged APC and PDP as terrorist organizations, our leading political parties as terrorist organizations, sad as it is. And then, you have the case of former Governor El-Rufai talking about the NSA paying bandits. This is not all. We also have the present governor of Borno State, Babagana Zulum, saying that military are acting as informants to Boko Haram. We have seen where the Chief of Defense Staff, General Musa, talking about he's going to expose those who are supporting terrorism and banditry. On one hand, you would definitely commend the military forces, the armed forces, that, okay, yes, you are doing your job, you are fighting these bandits, and you are even losing lives, because it's not like they are not taking any losses from these battles. They are also losing lives, are losing the lives of their comrades. But then at the same time, what really is going on if we're having informants? Because you can't give someone cake to eat and then you still want the same cake back. You can't eat, like the saying goes, you can't eat your cake and have it. It begs a lot of questions. It's very questionable that 3 countries close to Nigeria, Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali, all come together to tell you that Nigeria's terrorism and banditry are being sponsored by politicians. It's funny. It's funny. As sad as it is really funny, because talking about whether or not these people will be brought to book, because they did say they will release the names. I'll also fault the former governor of Kaduna State for saying he knows, because he didn't just mention that the NSA is supporting bandits or feeding bandits or paying bandits. At the same time, he did mention that they know the names of this people and they will release it in due time. When exactly is the due time? Is it when he's in power? Does he have to be in power to release these names? Or is he scared of his life too that these people will kill him? Then drop the names. This is not the be a patriotic Nigerian. Drop these names and go into or leave the country.
Probably when someone commits an offense and he knows they know he's done, he might find a way to run away. And when he might seek for asylum in Canada too.
Then we should know these countries that will give these politicians or these corrupt people asylum, and then tag these countries as non-diplomatic countries, as countries that are our enemies. For example, now let's say he drops the names and then he has to go into asylum. He goes into a foreign country. Let's say he goes to Canada, for example. Then we know Canada is the enemy. Or he goes to USA, we know USA is the enemy. Or if he goes to UK, we know UK is the enemy. That we are telling you that this person is a criminal, and yet we are giving him asylum. We've seen the situation of Nnamdi Kanu. He was extradited back to Nigeria because they perceived him as a terrorist. They perceived him as the criminal here. And he was extradited back to the country. So if these names are dropped and they seek asylum in another country, then we know who are going to war. We know that these are our enemies. It's not Nigerians killing Nigerians. It's foreign people killing Nigerians. And at the same time, the fact that this thing is sponsored by politicians, is sponsored by certain bodies, even if the international bodies, we're talking about, the likes of USA, Russia, BRICS and whatnot, even if they do not act on this, even if Nigerians don't act on this, remember, Niger is just close by here. It's at our backyard. Mali is close by. Burkina Faso is close by. If the terrorism here is also affecting them there, you can guess what will happen next with the situation, with the state of our borders.
They would actually want to push them back.
They will push them back. And then what happens after? They claim this territory. They say, okay, we push these people back. We kill these people. Therefore, this land is ours for making it safe. We are making it safe for ourselves. They will push it as far back as they can and then keep their own side safe. That's exactly what's going to happen. So for them to have done their investigation, we do hope that, because we've seen where ECOWAS has mobilized about 200,000 troops, saying that they were trying to, yes. And Nigeria is part of ECOWAS. So let's start at home first. We do hope that we would see the right actions being taken, and we do hope that these names are dropped and the government does what it has to do.
Hopefully the Sahel agencies were very eager. We can't wait. We want to hear, we want to see.
Sure.
We know and we want to know. We don't care. You do not hide anybody. Anybody does. Everybody must be responsible for their actions. Barry, hundreds, thousands, millions, billions have been budgeted into our security agencies. But yet, it's an outsider that's telling us our problem. What's this for us? We budget billions of naira to our military. We budget billions of naira to our DSS. We have intelligence agencies. We have security agencies. Yet, all this we could not know. We could not figure out who the people sponsoring bandits are. An outsider have to do that for us. And look at, like I said, politics and terror whining and dining together. It's quite dangerous. That's too much of a rough play. I think the way they say it in WWE, don't try this at home.
Don't try it.
It's very dangerous. What do you think about this, Barry? Out of all the budgets, all the priorities, it's an outsider that is helping us solve our problem. Is this not a shameful act? What do you have to say about this, Barry?
The truth is finally hitting home, like I said.
And we take it.
It's finally hitting home. Where, in the words of 2 or 3 witnesses, a word is established. I mean, it's not just Niger that said it. Burkina Faso and Mali intelligence agencies, they had an agreement on this particular intelligence. Like you said, and Nigerian intelligence has not picked this up. It shows an element of truth in this. First of all, that's what it establishes. And if this is true, it explains why the level of insecurity has deteriorated to the level it is right now. It shows the audacity in which these criminals operate in Nigeria. I mean, now they have moved and progressed to the level of holding press conferences. They are basically telling you, my guy is at the top and he's giving me his backing. I can do as I please. Really? Because, I mean, if my father is in government, I mean, I'm going to have a field day. And I'm going to move as I please because I know I have a backing.
Because just imagine going to a wedding and you see your mommy sharing jollof rice.
I mean, that is why we could hear.
You know.
You understand?
You know the kind of joy.
That is why we could hear certain bandits
being captured.
No,
city.
certain bandits are rehabilitated into society because their father and mama nine gets Nigeria, na them they power. That is basically why we are seeing this. And Nasser El-Rufai has come out and alleged this. We're not even saying that this intelligence is not there. Nigerians, an average Nigerian has put two and two together and seen that there is a government presence. There's an atom of government presence and sponsorship in Nigerian terrorism because, like I said, our borders, are they saying that there are no checks that are being done? These things are smuggled. Maybe someone in Pala has told someone somewhere, let them go. Okay, I'm expecting this, let it go, pass through. And thinking that it's a governmental package, not knowing that these are guns and munitions to sponsor terrorism in Nigeria. This is really showing why insecurity is a thing of the day everywhere, every state in Nigeria, even the federal capital territory, like you just said. That is why they were able to find 5 notorious bandits in the nation's capital because their people are in power. That is where is that not where our people are? Is that not where our federal office holders are?
Now we get government.
This is now they are supposed to be close to the power source. Really, that's basically what's happening. It's that there's no other explanation. I mean, we also heard that a particular bomber was found in the current vice president's house, state house. So it's
alarming.
It is glaring. It is glaring. It's just that we have not told ourselves the truth. It is glaring. It's a thing that needs to be looked into. I mean, now the question is the solution. How do we solve a problem that is cancerous, that is eating us from within? Our problem is not without. Our problem is within. We have people who are sponsoring. The best way to basically attack is from within. We've seen several invasions, and the most effective way to establish attack is from within. So there's a lot going on, and the question is, can we truly eradicate the problem of insecurity in Nigeria? If
are we
our
ready?
problem is no, I don't know whether it is because we don't know how high up the chain of command is. We don't know the people in question. That is it. They say that Nigerian politicians, we don't know who and who. So it is, how is it going to be possible? Because if it is high up, then really, is it possible?
You see, the president, you've heard what Barry have said and you've heard what Mo have said. Now it's time for you to hear what I have to say. Maybe I've been speaking too much English, so I'll speak to the episode that the language all of us understand. Sure, you don't ready. You don't see what's in the happen, Mr. President. This is not, we are tired. We don't tire. Body don't tire. We know if you continue to move like this. We've seen where the past governments were the women spoiled jollof rice and giving us. We are tired. You know if you the jollof rice we don't spoil, give us. You don't spoil, leave them like that. We cannot be reforming bandits and pushing them in the society. No, shoot on sight. These people are terrorists. These people, they don't budget. Their life don't spoil. They don't already kill plenty people. You know if you see person who don't kill your brother, me come push him, go refurbish and come push and come back to society. Make I they look him. So we cannot continue like this, Mr. President. We have to be ready to fight. Are we ready to fight this? Where is our budget? We get plenty budgets. Where our budgets they go? We get budgets for army. We get budgets for DSS. We have budgets for proper budget for security. We cannot continue moving like this. This is not happening in Northeast again. You don't come your house. It in front of your gates. And if you know tackle fire away, you know off for bush, you go reach inside town. Mr. President, we cannot continue. If you want me to speak Yoruba, show already. Be like he understands that, show already. Tackle insecurity, Ejo. This thing is going to consume us all. Mr. President, please. This is insecurity. Every day we talk about insecurity. Please do something. We cannot continue like this. And I hope we are not going to come back to this kind of issue again. We don't want to hear bandits in the whole of Nigeria. Talk less of Abuja. Talk more of here in front of your gates. Please, we don't want to hear it again. You promised us you find a solution to this, and we voted for you. Now we want that solution. That's all I have for you about insecurity today. And
Well,
moving on, I think Barry have a lot for us.
Strike.
But not thunder.
Not thunder, though. Thank you, not thunder.
A lot of strike actions going on in the country. I mean, we're moving from one element of bad news to another. Now another one is a strike action. But this strike action has been caused, like I said, based on the Dangote Pengassin rift. We've seen that in the news lately, where Dangote refinery laid off a lot of his workers, like all of his workers, because they chose unionism over over their company. And Dangote said he wasn't having any of it, and the NLC has instructed its members to prepare for an industrial action in sympathy with Pengassin, signaling a possible nationwide disruptions in the oil sector. Are we looking towards a rise in the price of oil anytime soon?
I hope we don't. I hope we
really
don't.
looking towards that, because this is alarming. And is this a form of bullying? Really, are they trying to bully Dangote? What do you have to say about this, Mohammed?
Well, the whole story is a lot. This is not the first time Dangote has come out to say he's being bullied, or they are trying to put certain policies out there to restrict what he does. We can remember from the coming of Tinubu, the president, he removed subsidy. We knew prices of commodities. We knew the price of transport before he came, and then after he came, how everything went up. And like you mentioned, it's a very big fear of ours that this particular action might increase the price of fuel. Because you can imagine what you are paying presently. We are barely coping with the price of transportation. And transportation covers everything. Once the price of fuel goes up, every other thing goes up. Moving commodities from one place to another, price of fuel. Producing products, producing certain things still has to be linked with fuel. So for me, this whole Pengassin issue and NLC going on strike, I feel like it's bullying. Not that I'm saying Dangote is completely out of problem or out of troubles or out of any blame. All I'm saying is, in an organization, a $20 billion refinery that gives something to the economy, it's doing something for the economy. At the same time, employing people that has about 3,000 Nigerian workers, and then for some of them, a lot of them, well, let me be frank, a lot of them to be laid off because they were said to have unionized, begs a lot of questions. Is it every single Nigerian in Dangote that was sacked? No. These are people that were said to have attempted to unionize, and then he laid them off before they could complete the deal. So then why is Pengassin trying to disrupt his operations for people that are not even his staff? The people, okay, now they have left Dangote, he paid them their benefits, and then they are members of Pengassin, they are members of the union, but they're no longer his staff. So what are they exactly fighting for? Remember, Dangote came out and said he's not saying he does not support unions, no. He allows for unions. Unionism is an international thing. Everybody does union, especially in Nigeria, where, during the military regime, unions have never been more important than during that period. You understand? He said he's okay with unionism, but then particularly Pengassin, I think, is what is having issues. Remember, he already had issues with Nupeng earlier this year. He had issues with Dapman. And then now Pengassin. So what really is the goal? Is it his capitalism that they're all after? There is so much to be asked there. You remember, unionism does not just say you must join an existing union. You can also create your own union. That's what the Constitution says. You have the right to either join an existing one or create one. So why aren't the staff creating theirs if they feel Dangote is going to do injustice for them? Me personally, from the record Dangote has shown, he's treating his staff well. He's paying his staff well. Yes, I don't understand the importance of joining union just in case something does not go right. But what exactly is their complaint for joining union? Why not start their own union? Yes, I understand it's good to check for yourself, protect yourself, look after yourself. But then why haven't these staff decided to create, if there's an injustice going on presently, they should come out and say it. Or they should have joined the union and tell the union to help them. But no, they just unprovoked decided to join this union that he's not comfortable with within his organization. When that organization goes down, or if that organization goes down, who takes the blame? It's still him. The people he got to sponsor, to donate to that refinery, they all look to him like, okay, yeah, this is all your fault. This is all you.
They're not blaming any
Exactly.
staff.
This is not a government organization. There's a difference between when union is fighting the government and when they're fighting private individuals. The goal of a private or capitalist company is that to make profits. So if I'm not making profit, what am I doing? Am I doing a public service? Am I doing a free service? Remember, Dangote is even killing two birds with one stone here. Not only is he trying to make profit, he's also at the same time, remember he said his purpose of the refinery is to, as a patriotic Nigeria, to stabilize, even if he's not taking the price of fuel down, try and stabilize it.
And so bridge the gap of unemployment.
Exactly.
At the same time, three
birds, one stone. So I don't know the catapult he's using, but he's really targeting well. So what is Pengasan really saying?
But I really want to ask this question, Mohammed. Do you think Pengasan is right for this action?
You see, just like what
do they have a right standing to make to go on strike and say that, okay, because Dangote has refused to bend to our whims, we'll go on strike? Do you think they have a genuine motive?
You see, I cannot put all the blame on Dangote and I cannot put all the blame. But what I would say is, if the staffs feel like there is something going on, then now they should come out and say, okay, this was what was going on, that we wanted to join the union. No, he does not pay us salary. Then would understand. And like I read, they said it's about somewhere, I read a rumor saying that there was imbalance of salary between them and the foreign. In every place you go to work, they pay you based on what the quality of what you deliver. Honestly, maybe these foreigners are giving him more than what these ones are giving him. I'm not saying they are wrong, but this is what I want you to see. But this is a private individual. When you are coming to work for him, he makes the rules. He tells you this is what you are going to do. He said, okay, I'm not comfortable with Pengasan coming. It's just as if you have a father and you as a son. He said, okay, he does not mind you having certain person as a friend, but what I want you is don't bring him into my house. I don't want this certain person inside my house. Okay, fine. He said he does not mind you people working for him, but he does not want Pengasan in his business. He does not want it. Because he feels like, okay, like what we saw last week where Otelela was saying, we have to leave the traditional way of doing things to the modern way. That's why Dangote wanted to cut off the middleman in fuel distribution, and he wants to be distributing direct fuel supply to the filling stations.
Okay.
Then now, he does not want these certain people. He said he's fighting a very big oil mafia. So probably this is a pattern of what we're seeing. And he's like Mo said, he's there to make profit. Then if you feel like, okay, this guy, this is what he's doing to us, then you people should come out and say, okay, this is the reason, this is what is happening. But as long as, and the funny thing is, these are his ex-staff. We call them ex-staff now since he has already sacked them. And one thing I would give to him, he gave them the remaining balance.
Benefits.
He gave them their salary benefits.
Sure.
So they have nothing to hold on him. If he wants, he can vote, he can bring another set of people to the company. But they have to respect his laws.
And you know, he did also mention that this was all a part of a global restructuring exercise that they're doing. That it's not just them. You understand? To just say that he's targeting those trying to join union, because the union is accusing him of denying the workers their rights to unionize. But then he's saying that's not the case. And I remember I said, this is not a government agency. Personally, I feel like if it was a government, for example, now let's use another union, like ASU now. ASU usually battles the government. That's a whole different thing, and that's a different case. They're battling the government because the government is supposed to be serving the people. So I can understand that. And I can understand certain cases where union can also be used when it comes to private organizations. There are some organizations that might be trying to hinder your rights, trying to abuse you, but then you have no voice out there. But then unions like Pengasan and others can stand up for you and say provide you with the necessary lawyers and whatnot. But then you can also remember that the industrial court told Pengassan that they have no rights or they should halt their plans to stop supplying Dangote with crude oil and gas. But they defaulted that court order. So are they doing this for personal benefits? Just the same way they are accusing Dangote of trying to do this for his personal benefit, are also Pengassan doing this for their personal benefit?
I mean, that's a lot of questions being raised. But then as regards the fuel prices issue, Mr. Kuli has come out and said that Dangote has enough in his reserves. So we shouldn't fear, that there shouldn't be any form of panic buying of fuel, that there is no need to queue up in the stations and, wait so many hours, that there is enough for whenever they want to call off their strike, that there is enough in store.
Yeah, just in addition to what Mo said, I think the Pengassan, I could label them as a bit selfish. What if he does not have enough in his oil reserve? So does that mean because of their own interests, it should affect the business of everybody
and
in
is
the nation?
Pengassan supposed to even be controlling the oil and gas of
Gas,
the country?
honestly,
is it not a public property? Is it not the government property? So why are they the ones halting that supply to
so
him?
you see, for their own interest now, them cutting off their supply, what if he did not have any reserve? It will affect everybody. Then where did that take us back to?
That's it.
Well, moving on to another strike action. I really hope that this issue is being resolved. We do not want to see any more of that, and we really do not want to see Dangote run out of fuel in his strategic oil reserves as well. So moving on to the next strike action, we see ASU issuing a 14-day ultimatum to the Nigerian government, the federal government of Nigeria, and saying that, you know what, if you do not answer us in 14 days, we will go on an indefinite strike action. This is alarming. A lot of strike looming in Nigeria, and and at the end of the day, it is the Nigerian citizens that get to suffer it. In this case, it is the Nigerian students that get to bear the brunt of this. Mohammed. Okay, no, let's go with KB for now. What do you have to say? What really is their reasons for going on this industrial action? What are their bases?
I would basically justify their actions. Honestly, I've always said it. I'm a realist. I look at things the way they are, not the way they are supposed to be. This is a question. This is a state whereby an assistant lecturer earns nothing more than 80 to 90,000, while one person is having 20 convoy. And you see, when we look at the cost of living, are we balancing their salary with the cost of living? An honest question. No. Imagine paying a lecturer 80,000 and you expect him every day he spends 10,000 naira for fuel to go to the office, and that five times a week, that's how much? That's 50,000. The next 3 weeks, is a miracle going to come from heaven? Maybe they're expecting a manna to come down from heaven. Yet some people are collecting over 10 million naira salary. Where's the balance? With this inflation, that lecturer, you still expect him to eat and dress. He has a family. He'll go to the hospital. Yet the salary still comes in late. So the ASU are, and what is the priority of the government towards education? Is education being neglected? Maybe that's why you see children of honorable this and that going to France and UK to study, while since they know the education system has been sabotaged. What is happening? We cannot say security is working. We cannot say economy is working, and now even education. Education is the foundation of every single thing in this country. Everybody you see successful, either way or not, education is the foundation. You have to have knowledge about something. At least you have basic education.
Yeah, so according to the report, the union had listed its demands to include renegotiation of the 2009 ASU-FGN agreement, sustainable funding of universities, revitalization of public universities, and an end to the victimization of its members at LASU, Prince Abubakar Audu University, and FUTO. Others are payment of outstanding 25 to 35% salary arrears, and then resolution of delayed promotion arrears spanning over 4 years, and settling outstanding third-party deductions. Now, this is a lot of accusations, and this is a lot of demands. This is a lot. Imagine you having 25 to 35% of your salary
Held.
being owed to you over a period of time. I really do not know how long that has been, but over a period of time. And the government expects you to stomach it and keep quiet. I mean, your agreement, for example, if your agreement was to get 100,000 naira per month, and then they've removed 35,000, what you're left with is 65.
65.
You're left with 65. And then you have burdens, you have needs that are non-respecter of the amounts that have been deducted. You have to pay it at all costs. You have to meet those needs. You have a family to feed. You have you have, do you understand? You have transportation. You have
Healthcare.
Do you understand? A lot of things to take care of, and these are being owed you. What do you have to say about this, Mohammed?
Well, in the case of us, we've all been victims of us. It's very rare for you to hear this person went to a federal university and they escaped.
Strike,
exactly. So the issue of ASU and federal government is it rinse, repeat, recycle thing. Just like the previous strike you mentioned, Pengasen, NUC strike with Pengasen, federal government has come to instantly. They have come to intercede between them to make sure that there is peace, even though it ended in deadlock, but they are still having another meeting today. But why does ASU have to issue a 14-day ultimatum almost every 6 months before they listen to them? Why is it not also instant? Let me bring your attention to, apart from the demands ASU is making, because these demands are not new demands. These are things we've known for over 16 years.
2009.
Exactly. That's about 16 years ago. So it's repeat, recycle. This particular year, in the 2025 budget, out of the 47 trillion naira budget, you can guess how much was dedicated for education? 3.5 trillion. From 47 trillion. Education that's supposed to be at the top. That's about 7% of the total budget.
And saying, where has that materialized? I'm saying, I've not seen it in.
Exactly. You can see the classrooms. Now, not only that, based on UNESCO's benchmark, UNESCO says that from a country's national budget, at least 15% should be dedicated to education. Now, you can imagine we're not even up to half of the benchmark for us, because
basically this really shows us how much they've neglected the education
exactly sector. 3.5 trillion for about how many federal universities, and every day we're seeing an uprise of private universities, and just recently NUC did declare 58 fake universities in the country. So you can imagine the situation of education in the country, that the one that the federal government is supposed to uphold is not taken care of, and then the ones that people are planting like as if it's beans here and there, just uprooting universities here and there, are also still considered fake. So is education no longer the matter? Is education no longer important?
And funny enough, they still approve some universities. You've not taken care of the ones you're having, yet you are still approving approving new universities.
What the government is best at doing instantly is renaming universities. A university that you're an alumni of, suddenly there is a change. Someone with political interest or political connections
now your
has made
no longer reads the name of the
exactly.
university.
So how
you can wake up and
how does one do a
Abuja
background check on you? What kind of stress is that? Imagine now applying for a foreign job or something, and then you're, where did you graduate from? And my is a situation whereby Ahmadu Bello University is being renamed. Then you say you graduated from so university, and you're like, we really don't know his university.
Agbado
A university like ABU that's over 50 years. Exactly. Something that should instantly kick an interest that, okay, this is it. Now you can imagine with the way the situation of public universities are being. If you go out now there to compete for something, or to be proud of your country, how then do you tell them, this is where I study, this is where I studied, this is where I plan for my children to study? How do you debate that when you're seeing situations of high school in some countries being better than your own university? A high school, secondary school, is better than a situation in university. You're sitting in the classroom with leakages. Your lecturers are not being paid enough. You are trekking to the gate. Your lecturer is trekking with you to the gate.
Your lecturers are coming with what they call it, a lot of bad attitude and bad vibes.
Exactly. You can
And
imagine the
bad
situation.
aggression to the students.
It's just like the same
And
way a student.
how would they even be mentally prepared to teach when they already have
These
a
people
lot?
have families to feed.
Honestly, you're giving somebody that has 2 children, a
Imagine
wife,
your salary has
80,000.
not been
What do you
reviewed
expect
since
him to do?
2009. And what was the price
And
of
yeah,
bag of
imagine-
rice in
and-
2009? What is the price of bag of
And
rice today?
Barry, to come, let me drag this to your attention. A few weeks ago, there was a salary increase for judges
Okay.
here in Nigeria.
The same judges that
Yeah.
are being through the back,
They're
did not
they're the ones that used to issue judgments in their favor.
allegedly.
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 There was salary increase for judges. Yet, the people that taught the judges are
Have
still
not
living in
received.
poor. The people that protect the country are still not seeing salary increase.
But those paying them
thank
have
you.
received salary increase.
And these are the professors. Don't you people should remember, these are the professors that are going to serve as returning officers
In
for you
election.
during election. Yet you people are not treating them right.
Okay.
It's selfish for you.
This is why
One
we
person is earning over ₦1 million in salary, while another, a teacher. We know how it's in Nigeria. I think there are countries that even the presidents do not earn as good as teachers because they know teachers are the backbone of every society. Everything you become, a president, a lawyer, it's as a result of teaching. Yet here in Nigeria, we've neglected this. We do not take care of the education sector. We do not regard it. So I think there should be a proper restructuring in the education. I was everywhere. We're all a victim. If you go to Federal University, you see open ceilings. You see open ceilings, open roofs. You go to primary education schools, you see open for God's sake. We believe public universities should be better than the private universities. This we're seeing otherwise. What is happening?
These are the questions. These are the issues. We hope to see a change, a vicissitude in our educational sector in the coming days, and I hope a lot of resolutions are made during their
14 days.
during their sit down with the government. I mean, you said that they're already in sit with the government. I really hope some resolutions are made, a positive resolution.
Hopefully they don't wind them. Hopefully,
Okay, moving on to our other story, we have this one. I'm very, very, very. I'm very, very, very skeptic of why this is coming out and the reason for which this is coming out. I mean, who is he to say this? But the president's aide has come out and told us that Jonathan, the former president, Jonathan, good luck, really, Jonathan, has no chance in the 2027 elections. So now, could this be a form of propaganda, or does he have real proof to back this talk? I mean, is he just talking, or does he have proof to back it up? What do you have to say? I mean, do you think this is right? Does he have enough evidence to show that President ex-president?
Because he said he has poor economic record.
Well, let me just give you a very brief, a vague breakdown. The information will be on your screen soon. So the fact here is that this presidential aide is speaking on behalf of the president. He's speaking on behalf of the president. He must have been seen worthy to be given that position. And for him to come out to say Goodluck Jonathan has a poor record in comparison to the present sitting government, that is the president, is really, really funny. Because as you can remember, if you check the GDP of Nigeria during Goodluck Jonathan's tenure and now today, if you check the revenue we were generating, if you check the employment and unemployment rate during Goodluck and Tinubu, if you check the start of price of commodities during Goodluck Jonathan and now, even though, yes, I would fault just one part of Goodluck Jonathan's whole administration and during his tenure, it was that while we were noticing progress and development, it was just that internally within the country, we were not sustaining it. It was more of a passive development, you understand? Because back then, there was a whole increase in the oil international market. There was a lot of development that we're seeing back then. But today, I don't know if there's any record of any passive development apart from what the president has said so far on international television about no longer being corruption in the system and whatnot. Apart from what he has said, not what we have seen, but what he has said. Is there any development? Is there any passive progress that we can attribute to the president apart from those who are close to him, those who are benefiting from his pocket? Can we say that, yes, his own tenure is better than Goodluck? So to come outrightly to say Goodluck Jonathan has a terrible record is very funny. It's very funny because, well, we have a local tradition in Nigeria whereby once the next president comes, we'll be like, we missed the last one. The last one might have been terrible, but as soon as the next one comes in, he is more terrible than we prefer the last one. So even if he's saying he has a terrible record in this situation, it just shows that he was terrible, but you are worse. That's basically what he's trying to tell us. Okay, but what do you think?
No, wait. Before you answer that, right? Because there are serious allegations that he made, right? So it was made to dispel the speculations on ex-president Jonathan's chances to contest in the 2027 elections. And he said that Jonathan really can contest if he wants, but he has dismal record in office. That his dismal record in office remains fresh in Nigeria's memory. And then he cited that in Jonathan's tenure from 2010 to 2015, he said that the management of all revenues and depletion of reserves and excess crude oil accounts. So that's the first one. He said the fiscal irresponsibility, corruption, and waste during periods of high oil prices.
Wow.
Another one, he said failure to meet salary obligations. We just talked about that.
The house is going on strike.
Let's just continue. Failure to meet salary obligations, states being indebted to civil servants, and a weak economic agenda. Another one again is the security fund mismanagement and scandals. What do you have to say about this, KB?
Right now, I just hope it's my ear that is paining me. But I just hope I did not hear well. Did you mention corruption? Barry, did you mention corruption as part of the things that the presidential aide said? Did you mention corruption? I was just hoping it was my ear that was paining me. It was not what I heard. Corruption. Chama, you funny girl. Better just start skit on YouTube or TikTok because this thing is very funny. In my life, I have never, ever seen a more corrupt government than this. I have never, ever seen where salary, have they paid you? I'm a living witness. The NYSC people are complaining. They have not seen anything. Security forces have not seen salary. This is the 30th. I have never seen where people's salary, the misappropriation of funds, people that are supposed to, money that we are supposed to use for something, but certain chairman don't go by yacht. It's you funny go. This is a democratic setting. Everybody is entitled to come. Tomorrow I might wake up and I want to contest for the position of presidency. You are in no position to tell certain people you are not fit. No. This is a democratic setting. Everybody is entitled to that position.
He said that you can contest if you want. He can contest if he wants to, but he has no chances of winning because Nigerians remember his public record.
You see,
is that what we remember about
the presidential aide?
Jonathan.
The presidential aide have selective memory. Maybe he's getting old. Maybe we should remember him.
True.
Come close. Look at the rate of insecurity then. Can you travel? Barry, if I give you money, can you travel to Maiduguri or by road? Can you travel to Katsina Zamfara by road? Yet you talk about insecurity. Unemployment. What is the rate of unemployment? See where are the jobs? Where are the jobs? Yet you are even opening your mouth. You don't even have shame to talk about unemployment. Look at the poverty rate. 1,000 naira cannot feed you. Here in Nigeria today, how much were we buying? Look at the inflation now, chairman. You just say you did okay, sure, okay. Because I just feel like this. I don't know who is giving him, who is writing this one, but you are wrong. When we balance the equation, he's wrong. The time from the time of Goodluck, during the regime of Goodluck, we were buying rice for as cheap as 10,000, 15,000. Today, a bag of rice sells for not 30, not times 2. A bag of rice sells for 90, 100K. Yet you talk about inflation. You talk about honor, the audacity, the disrespect.
And it's not, do you understand? The truth is, it's not been so much time.
Look at it.
It's just been how many years
8.
now?
But look at it. 8 to 10.
8 to 10 years, and we are seeing this amount of inflation. It's
poverty,
incredible.
loans.
We're not talking about 100% inflation.
No.
We're not talking about 200%
We're talking about more than 500% in inflation.
Do you understand? It is terrible, and it is like I said, is the pot calling kettle black. I
Yet
mean,
you talk
look
about
inwards. The Bible will say, remove the log of wood in your own eye before you begin to remove the speck in another person's eye.
True.
And it is that apt. I mean, look inwards. Look at your government.
Maybe
Ask
you
the
need
average Nigerian citizen to rate this present Tinubu administration, and you will get a picture. Vis-a-vis the Jonathan administration, you will get a picture that Jonathan, as you may have said that he didn't work and he had whatever records and everything, he will perform better in that poll than Tinubu.
So I think Mr. Presidential aide, in things like this, simple, don't come here, do not involve you, because I don't know who is giving him such. You should. How would you? If don't go out on the street and say something like this, people they vex.
They will just wear him 500.
So they go wear 500. People they vex, because it's a total. It's not true. With all due respect, what you said is
you can
false.
make a harmless comment, but
It's
to
false.
downplay someone else
Honestly,
because of your own interest.
And this is a democratic setting. I can wake up tomorrow and say I want to contest, and I have the right.
True.
So you are not in the position to tell
Stop
people
trying to
this one should
discredit
be.
him.
No, you can
Allow him go to
allow.
polls.
What are you?
I think
Are you
it's just
having fear?
because these are
Yes.
speculations. He hasn't even outrightly come out to say,
Yes.
I'm coming out for the 2027
Sure, you
election.
said you people are performing well.
Are they shaking in their pants? I thought they said
Honest,
that
they are
not,
performing
were
well.
not
Then you have
afraid
nothing to
of
fear.
the
Let the
ADC
people decide. Since you are performing well, there's nothing for you to fear.
Exactly.
Let people decide.
You don't have to downplay
Simple.
anyone.
It's not hard.
Moving on.
Moving on. Now we're going to court. We're going to court. We're going to sue. We're going to be sued.
A lot of lawyers have been called to bar.
Well,
Looks like the job is here.
Our first court story here states that Professor Pat Utomi's idea of a shadow government/cabinet has been declared unlawful by a federal high court, stating that this is against the constitution and that him and his associates have been restrained. But this also begs the question, what exactly are they trying to curb here? Because they're calling this a shadow government move and that it is wrong, it is unconstitutional. But then isn't this kind of encroaching into his civil societal rights? All he's doing here, him and his associates, is that they are criticizing the government and whatnot. But then if a federal high court is coming out to say that what they are doing is illegal, what does that say for the common man? If we don't have certain measures to fact check and gatekeep the society, the government, sorry, not the society, but the government, because it begs a lot of questions. There are a lot of question marks here. Kebi, for example now, what do you think about a government that the people do not have faith in? Should they not speak against this government? And if they are being silenced, what does that say?
Firstly, let's explain what a shadow, what the whole concept of a shadow government, what does it mean? In other countries, shadow governments are there. A shadow government is there as a replica of the present government to checkmate the affairs of the government, and when they go wrong, they criticize them and correct them. That's the whole idea behind it. And we're living in a democratic setting where everybody has freedom of speech. Did they carry weapons? No. But you know, like I say every week, my problem is with DSS. They they don't kill person for your backyard, though. They kill the lady. But is this your problem? Is this our problem? And you want to tackle a shadow government. Fine. Shadow government is Zamfara. They are collecting tax from farmers. Yes, bandits. They are doing your work. Bandits are collecting tax from farmers. That's the shadow government. That's the shadow government. So they are doing the government's work. That's the shadow government. Go to Kasina. People cannot farm until they pay tax to these bandits.
At this point, it has become bandit inland revenue service. It's no longer federal.
BIRS.
That's a shadow government.
We're
Yes.
operating on the BIRS,
Yes.
Bandit Inland Revenue Service. You cannot farm. You have to pay. They will let the farming, the whole crop will grow. But if they burn you well, harvest without paying tax.
You can't.
If they burn you well, harvest.
Isn't that a shadow government on its own?
Yet you are complaining. These people, they want the best for us. Okay, the president is wrong. They said, then this is what they are going to call you out. Then you adjust. On the other hand, self is a good thing. When you are wrong, somebody tells you are wrong. It's a good thing.
I mean, this present administration has issues with people calling out the government.
Honestly,
They have issues with feedback, and it is strange. It is strange that they would have
and
issues.
Prof, how are you trying to silence? Okay, if you know you are not doing anything wrong, then what's there to silence Prof? Okay, if he said you do, then you come out to the people. It's a lie.
If he's trying to...
Honestly, honestly, let the
simple as
facts be
that.
the truth. Not be church. Share workings day.
Exactly.
You people present the workings, but you people are telling us shadow government. When shadow government are in Biningwari, shadow government are in Zamfara, yet you people don't know the shadow government to go. Oh man, you people need to think twice. So this will matter the time. Shadow government when we're operating on a BIRS, Bandit Inland Revenue, yet is somebody that is. Be careful. People should do
well, I believe Professor Tami is going to appeal this. And still moving on court cases, a billionaire suing with a billion naira libel suit.
So a big man matter.
Femi Otedola is suing ex-vice presidential aide. The ex-vice president is nobody, but his aide accused him, in person of Umar Sani, accused him of being complicit in subsidy fraud. And now Femi Otedola has taken this case to court. He's suing him for 1 billion naira for libels. He stated that the allegations being linked to him by the former media aide of the ex-vice president is so libelous and wrong that because he did not directly engage or trade in PMS. You understand? He did not engage in the subsidized products that they are accusing him of. You know, it's like they said you stole biscuits, but it's Gary that is on your lips.
Oh, there's nothing safe.
Exactly.
It's quite painful to feel this narrative and you didn't do it. I rather do it.
You said I did this, but I'm not even in this. So what exactly are you accusing me of? Well, he has taken him to court, and we believe this case is going to be long because what the story here says is that this is not only going to affect Otedola as his reputation. This is a businessman. We know this.
An international
businessman. So what do you think this says of him when probably a colleague of him or a business partner just randomly going through the news and then he sees an international news saying Femi Otedola is being accused of or is being guilty of subsidy crime or complicit in subsidy fraud. Meanwhile, he was not even really linked to it. And what he did exactly in the whole thing was that he was trying to actually expose a certain scam that was going on with the subsidy. He is demanding that a public or a publicized report of what subsidy funds were used be provided by the government.
I mean, I feel, right, so coming from that accusation, right, I feel there's no smoke without fire. Femi Otedola is one of the founders of Datman.
True.
And they deal in petrol. Basically, what Datman does is they are like a warehouse for fuel. So when this accusation was levied against him, if he wasn't complicit to it, it was happening under Datman. So he probably did not know where to point fingers to, but fingers were pointed in the direction because Datman stores fuel, right? this fuel are coming from abroad. They are being stored in these warehouses, and these warehouses distribute to retailers. So now this is where it comes from. When, let's say, fuel comes in at, let's say, 200, the subsidy was paid, like 200 was paid, they maybe get to charge extra. They charge extra, and fuel subsidy had been paid, but they charge extra. They sell at a higher rate to these retailers as the middlemen. So this is basically also why Dangote has also refused to engage in that man. I said that, okay, this is what is happening. I refuse to associate with it. And then, I also, speaking for Otedola, Femi Otedola came out and was on the side of Dangote and said, he has seen the corruption happening in that man, and he feels that they should let him do as he wishes. And he cited this as an issue. So I feel Femi Otedola wasn't guilty, but that agency had become corrupted and polluted, and he spoke about it. So I feel he has every right to come out and say that these allegations, it tarnishes his image. This is something he brought about to ensure that there is always fuel in the country. They bring fuel from overseas. They bring that there's always fuel, and it's always in circulation. We're never lacking in supply of fuel. But now them turning it around against him, this is now an issue, and I think he's right for suing as well.
Just to an addition to what Barry said, you see, this is to show you Femi Otedola and the whole subsidy case coming up again. This is a sign to show you that how deep things don't get solved quick in Nigeria. Over how many years? Over how many years? This is to show you how much cases get prolonged. This is something that we should have been able to solve a long time ago. This is over 10 years. So this is something we should be able to solve. But this is to show you how the Nigerian system, the judicial system, lacks in early judgments. They need to go deeper into this case and solve it. We don't want to hear this thing again. And I think I support what Otedola does. Like what you said, this is an international businessman. I wouldn't want to be a businessman. Everybody outside in the international level has seen my name for subsidy fraud, and they would want to take a step back with doing business with me, and it affects his reputation. So it's like I will go back to university and study law with the amount of lawsuits that are flying around. Honestly.
Well, we'll keep you updated on this court case, and if this money is going to be paid, and if the court is going to uphold his lawsuit. Moving on to our final story. If Nigeria was a civil servant, it will be 5 years into retirement tomorrow. Tomorrow is Independence Day. Nigeria turns 65.
Wow.
Yay to Nigeria.
In the spirit of unity and oneness.
And patriotism. We wish Nigeria a merry, happy birthday. And we went there for the first birthday, but then we're alive here to see the 65th anniversary of the country going through thick and thin, staying united.
Even though someone asked me yesterday, he said, are we really independent? But I told him that's a question for another day.
That's a question for another day. Catch us tomorrow as we bring you live celebration of Independence Day. I remain Abbas Muhammad on the morning break.
I am Barry to the world.
And I'm Mohammed Kabir, and I hope we don't hit the ground running. Thank you for being with us. See us next time.